In the last few decades, the world has changed dramatically. Cities have expanded, roads have fragmented the landscape, cars have multiplied in number, and the hustle has taken over. Yet as more and more of us have moved into these concrete jungles, others have followed. As most of the city starts to fall asleep, foxes emerge from the shadows. With an estimated 10,000 foxes living in London alone, these misunderstood animals have learnt to live amongst us.
Foxes are very adaptable. They're opportunist. They can find a way of living in any kind of environment. So urban, suburban, rural, it really doesn't matter to them. Just as long as there's a food supply, there's somewhere to hide, some security, a water source. That's pretty well all you need.
Weaving in and out of the shadows, foxes rely on their acute sense of smell to find food. But a life on the road can be dangerous and full of threats. Yet with high risk comes high reward. Foxes live a risky life in the city. But in southeast London, some foxes are getting a helping hand. Having grown up with a passion for foxes, Trevor Williams set up the Fox Project, a wildlife hospital which now rescues over 1,000 foxes every year.
I spent most of my childhood on my uncle's farm, which was where I wanted to be. If my parents said, let's go to the seaside, I was very upset because I wanted to be on the farm. I loved it on the farm, and that's where I saw my first fox. I was walking through an orchard with my uncle Bill, and this fiery orange flame shot out of the grass in front of us as we disturbed it in the sunshine, and it just left me with this impression of something magical. It was just it was an amazing sight to see. I think the reason why I felt it was imperative that we have an organisation like this was because we found there were many more foxes being killed by local authorities around the country than there were with all the hunts put together. But it was all very much on the quiet. When we first formed, that was the most important thing I saw that we needed to do, was to kind of get local authorities on side and to provide information to people on humane fox deterrence.
Foxes have been heavily villainised throughout British history, despite never officially being classified as vermin. In the late 1990s, foxes were trapped and killed by local authorities as a means of control. Having grown up witnessing this behaviour, Trevor contacted 550 councils around the country and successfully persuaded them to stop.
At that point, we had no intention of being a rescue organisation. It was just going to be an information bureau on foxes and a deterrence consultancy. But people were phoning us up and saying, I've got a poor-leaf cub in my garden, can you come and get it? And then I thought, okay, I've done some voluntary work with the wildlife hospital. I can go and pick up these few calls we get like that. And that was 1993. And now, 30 years later, we're taking in somewhere between 1,000 and 1,300 foxes per year.
The majority of rescues occur in people's gardens, where the injured foxes can be easily contained.
Having brought the animal in, then we first off have to decide what the problem is. It might be coming in for all sorts of reasons: parasitical issue, infection, virus, road accident, dog attack, all sorts of reasons like that.
With the many challenges they face, urban foxes live in a constant state of alertness. But at certain times of year, they are more at risk.
Between Christmas and maybe halfway through February, we find significant numbers of foxes being mown down by traffic. Because of the mating season and the drive to find a mate and to keep a mate, they're often off their own territory, roaming around on roads they don't understand, not understanding the dynamics of the territory, and getting mown down by traffic. Towards the end of summer, there will again be a significant number of road casualties because the cubs are dispersing from their families and they're running into trouble, they're making mistakes, and the inevitable result is injury.
In the worst case scenarios, it even results in death. Every year, the fox population in London halves as a result of traffic accidents, before rebounding the following breeding season. Another common problem during the summer months is mange, an itchy parasitic infection caused by mites. With the high food availability in urban areas, foxes no longer have to search as far for food, resulting in smaller territories than in rural areas. This has increased the chances of foxes interacting with each other and passing on the disease. As a result of continuous scratching, mange often results in fur loss, open wounds, and crusty skin. But it's easily treated. By covering the affected area in vegetable oil, the crust starts to break away. The fox can then be injected with an antiparasitic drug that destroys the mites.
Having got the animal in and got it stable and got it treated, resolved its issues, we will always put it back where it came from because that's its territory, that's where it knows. We'll never move an animal on to somewhere else. We'll always put it back where it came from because that's where it belongs. That's what everything is all about with us. It's a second chance. People will sometimes say, what good do foxes do? Well, I don't think foxes have to justify themselves by saying they're good at this or they're good for that or they're there for our benefit. They are what they are, and they need to make no excuses and they need to make no justifications to have a life. They're entitled to a life as much as anybody.
Foxes face a number of threats in urban environments, yet they have learnt to live alongside us. In the face of adversity, and sometimes with a helping hand, urban foxes always find a way to bounce back, showing that these streaks of fire are the kings of the urban forest.